Hello and welcome back to another video. So today is Sunday. I just got back from Tesco's. Just got some bits for dinner and some soup for lunch because I'm feeling lazy and just want something quick. By the way, do you like my new coat? Hang on, I don't know if you can see it. I love it. It's from M&S and it's got these lovely little buckles. My dad said it reminds him of Paddington Bear, which made me love it even more. Anyway, sidetracked. So today I'm going to be sanding and painting the skirting boards and interior doors in the living room because Dad is, sorry I'm out of breath. Dad is coming round tomorrow to start laying the new laminate flooring, which I'm very excited about. So I'm going to get the skirting boards all prepped and stuff beforehand, so I need to do that today. Just, got a bit of fluff stuck in my nail. I was just going to paint them white, but I saw this reel on Instagram and it said something about painting your skirting boards a different colour because it's almost like putting socks on your walls, and I loved that. Even though I'm an illustrator and I love colour, my problem is I change my mind so much about what colours I like. It really does depend on the time of year. So for walls and more permanent things, I do have to keep things relatively neutral, and then I bring colour in other ways with like cushions and blankets and ornaments and artwork and stuff. So don't come at me for being a bit beige sometimes. It's just I just change my mind so much. I bought this mushroom colour furniture paint and I didn't get a tester, so we're just hoping for the best, but having opened the tin, it does look suspiciously similar to the colour on the walls. But if it does look the same, I'm also okay with that because that's kind of trendy now, isn't it? It's like colour drenching, so just gonna see what happens. With the wall colour, I bought about 15 paint samples and I was so indecisive and I just can't be bothered to go through that again. So I just thought, you know what, that looks nice. Whatever it is what it is going to be. And then if I really hate it, I can change it. Also, I got that from Danone this morning. I also picked up wallpaper sample. Potential wallpaper for the bathroom. I'm thinking there's not a lot of just like normal wall in the bathroom because, as I said in I think it was in my cleaning video, I really don't like our bathroom, but at the moment we're just not in a position to be able to do a full renovation, like completely change it. So I thought maybe as like just until we are able to do that, maybe I could put some wallpaper up, paint the tiles, cover those hideous glittery tiles that I absolutely hate. Yeah, so, but that's not going to be for a while. This is just a sample so I can see what it looks like. What I need to do is I need to get dressed, put on my painting clothes and have some lunch and then just get started. So this is what we found underneath the lino in the kitchen. Peel and stick tiles, but I think they've been there for a very long time because when we tried kind of picking a bit off and it just crumbled. So I don't think we're just gonna put the laminate over it because they're so thin. There's hardly a difference between here and here. So this is the living room, which is just concrete at the moment. Yeah, sadly no original floorboards hiding in this house. Oh, and yeah, this is the floor that we're going with. So it's quite dark, but yeah, I really like it. It's really, really rich, really warm. I think it goes lovely with the rug actually. And we're having the same in the living room and the kitchen. Yeah, it's not been very nice walking around on concrete for this last week, I will say. So I'm very excited to get some proper floor in here again. As for what I like to call the vestibule, in here, our little entryway, we've left the carpet there for now because I have grand plans to put down some sort of Victorian Edwardian tiles in the entryway and then maybe get a really funky wallpaper. I feel like I can be braver in that room because, you know, it's a small space, and if I don't like it, I just shut the door and I don't spend much time in there. So maybe that'll be the beginning of me becoming, oh god, this is Jack's YouTube stuff, by the way. I am definitely not watching chest pummeling with Eric Bugenhagen. Okay, got a belly full of soup. I am dressed in my painting jeans and yet another university jumper that I did not go to. Yeah, I'm gonna literally just lightly sand the skirting boards in here, and I'm hoping that won't take too long because I hate sanding, I hate doing it. I do have an electric sander, but I think that'll be a little bit too aggressive, noisy and messy to do in here, so I'm just gonna use sandpaper and hopefully that will suffice. And yeah, and then get painting. I actually quite enjoy painting, although I will say I'm not very neat. And Dad said not to use masking tape because it will probably rip off the paint off the walls because they've not long been painted. So I've just got to try and be careful. So I'm gonna have some kitchen paper at the ready to wipe away any messy bits. Let's just hope the colour looks okay. And we also have Stevie Boy with us today. He wants to go out, but his collar, his tracker collar is charging, so he's mad at me. Okay, I'm gonna stop procrastinating. I always forget how much I hate painting. I actually quite enjoy painting. Hate it. And I think because I don't do it that often, I forget and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. I'll do it really quickly. It takes ages and then it looks really bad whilst it's drying. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to do another coat. And then the masking tape, the not using masking tape thing was a mistake because I'm a terrible artist, really. No, I can't paint a straight line. I can't do it, so I've had to use tape, but I'm peeling it off as soon as I've painted that particular section, so it's not ripping the paint off. Why is my nose so red? Yeah, we're getting there. The good news is the colour is different to the walls, and it's actually come out exactly how I wanted it to. Yeah, I love it. Obviously it's patchy as hell. I need to do a second coat, but can you see the vision? I love it so much. I think it's great. So yeah, I've just got to finish this back skirting and then I've got to do the trim on this door. I don't know whether to actually paint this door because we never close it and you see it from the kitchen more than you do in the living room. So I think I might actually leave that door. It's also very possible that I am just being lazy. I don't want to do that door. But yeah, I'll think about it anyway. We'll see how we go. But another thought I'm having is whether to paint the bookcase in the same colour because it needs a fresh coat of paint. It's been through 2 house moves and it's a bit battered. So, and it would be quite nice for it to all be the same. And then we can organise the bookcase again together. As I promised, I can do a bookshelf tour. Love it so much. On camera, annoyingly, it's looking very grey, but well, the colour is called mushroom. It's a very warm grey, with purpley brown undertones, I would say. But yeah, I really like it. I decided just to do, oh, I need to get the masking tape there. I just did the door frame. I wasn't sure where to stop, but I figured on this bit here, so it's white on the other side here, kind of makes sense because I didn't really want this colour touching the green. I think I might be overthinking it. But yeah, like I said, this door we never close. And to be honest, I don't think it would look weird even if we did. And if it's not painted. No. Something I've learned through decorating is that I would not do very well moving into a house that needed a lot of work, because even just not having flooring, it's stressing me out. I feel like the house is an absolute mess when it's not that bad at all, but I feel restless and like almost stressed because it's not looking how it's supposed to look, which is so stupid. Morning, it is the next day. Dad's just on his way round and we're gonna get started on the floor. I probably won't film actually laying the floor because Dad is very camera shy and I don't want to make him uncomfortable, but I will share an update with you as soon as I can. Ooh, it's looking good. Right, Dad's just gone, it's 4 o'clock, and as I said, I didn't really film much today because Dad is very camera shy, but I'm so happy with it, like so happy. I'm gonna show you, We've still got to do the beading around the edges and still have the kitchen to do, but the living room is basically done and it looks so good. I'll show you a before and after for ultra satisfaction. Yeah, I am obsessed with it. I'm so happy. Ignore my socks, by the way. I thought they were matching, but they are not. Yeah, I was worried it might be a bit too dark because this room is very dark. However, I sometimes think if you have a dark room, just kind of lean into it and just embrace the darkness. And I don't think it's too dark. I think it looks lovely. Yeah, I just think the whole room now just looks so much nicer. And the painted door and the skirtings. There's Steve. Steve's not very happy about it because obviously it means he has less carpet to scratch now. Obviously there's one big thing left to do, and that is the bookcase. I don't know if I can be bothered to paint it. Okay, as promised, I am going to be sorting out every single one of my books and organising them into genres and categories. We're going to be reorganising my bookcase. So this is pretty much every book I own. Not all of them will fit on this bookcase. I wanted to sort through all of them to see if there are any that I can maybe give away, or also just take stock and figure out where I'm going to put the other ones should I wish to keep them. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this, and I think it's just to go through them one by one, put them into categories, and then I won't talk about every single book because that could take forever, but any that stand out to me that I think might be interesting to mention, I will. And so some of it will just be time-lapse sorting out, other times I'll be talking to you about books, and during the time lapses, I'll be watching Hocus Pocus 2, which is behind you, because it feels very appropriate at this time of year. So grab yourself a cup of tea, get comfy, and we'll spend the rest of this video having a wonderfully organisy, bookish time together. Okay, I already need to stop to talk about a specific book because this book is probably my most treasured book. It is Anne of Avonlea, a first edition. I love it so much. It's very old, published in 1925. Oh my goodness, so it's actually 100 years old exactly. That's so cool. Yeah, if you've not heard of Anne of Green Gables and you're here, I'm confused. But Anne of Green Gables series, I love them. They are so wholesome. They bring me so much happiness. I like to read them all year round. Doesn't matter what the season is, because, you know, for me a lot of the time books are seasonal. This one will take pride of place on the bookcase. So I think the first category is precious books. This book I actually got in Tesco's. They have a second-hand book shelf thing where you can just donate some money and take a book. It's a Latin dictionary and I couldn't leave it. It's an absolute monster and it's just so beautiful. It belongs in a proper 19th century library really, but I love it. It is a tome and a half. Like, that is actually quite heavy. So that definitely goes in the precious books pile. So I thought I could quickly show you some of my favourite picture books that I own and my favourite picture book illustrators, one of which is Carson Ellis, The Shortest Day, and there's another one called Home somewhere, are probably two of my favourite picture books of all time. Where the Wild Things Are is just legendary. John Classon, I love him. I actually got this one signed by Mac Barnett and John Classon when I was working at Hay Festival a few years ago. So that was really cool to meet them. Yeah, I have got some more picture books, but these will live in my studio upstairs. Who Owns the Woods? Illustrated by Jess Mason and written by Emily Hibbs. Highly recommend it if you have small people in your lives. So this is Julia Sada, who is an incredible illustrator. In fact, I would go as far to say probably my favourite of all time. I think her work is incredible. It's just beautiful. Any book from either illustrator from the Lord of the Rings series, John Howe and Alan Lee, I would like to own, and this one is my personal favourite. This is John Howe's, and yeah, their illustrations are just they are just insane. It's a whole other level. Whenever I look through these books, I always think I don't want to be a children's book illustrator anymore. I want to be a concept artist. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. I have so this is the edition they published after the film was made, so they've used the film artwork for this one, which I do love, but it is nowhere near as good as the original artwork by Charlie Maxey. I don't know if I actually said his surname correctly there, but I just love this book so much. This is like the modern day Winnie the Pooh, I think. And I've been meaning for a really long time to get some prints made of this. It's just so wholesome and so beautiful. I love to read this in the winter, like around Christmas time. This definitely does not belong to me. These books I inherited from my very lovely, sweet Nan, who is no longer with us, but she was the definition of a crazy cat lady. She genuinely at one point had about 25 cats because someone in her close was drowning their kittens. Apparently people used to do that quite a lot, and my Nan couldn't bear it, so she just kept taking these cats in until she ended up with about 25 of them. So yeah, we got these books from her. In fact, I inherited a lot of books from my Nan, a lot of which aren't here. They're actually upstairs in my studio because they were part of a subscription service, the Reader's Digest, I think. So she's got all of the classics pretty much and they're all bound in the same kind of style, which actually is like this. So yeah, I've got a whole bookcase upstairs full of these books. Another Jess Mason. This book I always recommend to people who are interested in learning the process of illustrating children's books and, you know, where to start and how to do it. And it's written by Martin Salisbury, who I believe is the founder of the MA course in Cambridge in children's book illustration. But yeah, this I found really useful. So yeah, illustrating children's books, creating pictures for publication by Martin Salisbury. Again, one of my most prized possessions. This is a first edition and signed. Where is it? I love this book. I've actually just started reading. Where is it? And I don't know how to pronounce it. I think Cottage is right. Yeah, not so sure on this yet. I'm only 85 pages in, so I don't feel like I can really say whether I like it or not. But one thing I often say with fantasy books is I like magical realism. I like it to feel like it's grounded in reality, and for that to work for me, for that to be convincing, I think a good amount of time needs to be spent in this world before we introduce lots of magical elements for me to be able to enjoy it. Whereas this one, it kind of dives straight in, they go to hell, and it just boom in there, no messing about, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but I really want to like it because I loved Fables so much. But we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind. I will say, Sunrise on the Reaping I did not enjoy very much. In fact, I actually gave it up after a bit, which this, for those who don't know, is it a prequel? Yeah, so it's a prequel to the Hunger Games books, which I read when I was a teenager and I loved them. So I thought, oh, that might be quite nice to read, and I didn't get on with it. This is my favourite copy of Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. This is almost always on my coffee table, which is where it will remain, with Agatha Christie Autumn Chills, because it's just perfect for this time of year. So we'll keep those to the side. I could talk about Philip Pullman until the day I die, but I will not. I will save that, but let's just say these are my favourite books of all time. Favourite book series of all time. The next one, the final book of this series, is coming out in like 2 weeks, I think, so I'm very excited. This book is one of the first books I ever illustrated, and it was for HarperCollins in New York. It's still to this day one of my favourite projects I worked on. They were so nice to work with, HarperCollins. I just love it. Even down to the deckled edges of the paper. They just put so much thought and love into this book, and yeah, I felt very honoured. I think it did win an award actually. Can't remember what that award was. It won an award. That would go into historical fiction. No, it's not fiction. Okay, this is a flex. So, one of the proudest moments in my career was being able to have my name, where am I? My name, Jess Mason, printed on the same page as Jane Austen. I mean, that's pretty cool. I did some illustrations for a graded reader edition of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. And it's one of the pages. But yeah, if you don't know, I am a huge Austen fan. She's probably the author who I am most interested in, as in I've like not only read her books, but I've read a lot about her as well, because I just find her absolutely fascinating. And I can highly recommend if you are also interested in Jane Austen. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. But when I find it, I will show you. It's a biography written by Lucy Worsley, who's a historian. On the subject of Jane Austen, we have some penguin cloth-bound classics of hers. It is my dream one day to own every single one of the penguin cloth-bound classics, designed by Coralie Bickford-Smith, and I'm a big fan of hers and would love to have a bookshelf just full of her designs, because I mean, look at them. They're glorious. Yeah, so that goes in the Jane Austen pile, which is quite a big one. These books of Jane Austen, so this is all of her books. Oh no. No, it's not. What are we missing? Sense and Sensibility. But I keep these because these were actually gifted to me when I was 14 from my friend's mum at school, who heard that I'd got into reading Jane Austen. So she bought me the whole set, which I just thought was so lovely, and I could never get rid of them. Even though I have like much nicer, fancier editions, these are the books that got me into Jane Austen, so I could never part with them. Oh, we have Oliver Twist, a very old copy of Oliver Twist. Oh my god, that smell. I actually feel like, this is gonna sound so weird, you know when you get really anxious and like people have strategies to calm down, like box breathing and, I don't know, name 5 things you see, 5 things you can smell, whatever. I think smelling old books would work just as well. Because honestly, that just like, I just feel so calm. That goes in the precious pile. Now I've just stuck my nose all in it. Every home library needs the complete stories of Sherlock Holmes. This book is actually so hard to read just because of how thick it is. It's ridiculous. But I do love it. Thought we'd get you to eye level for a bit. It feels weird talking up at you. This book, I'm ashamed to say, I've yet to read, but I really want to. Demon Voices by Philip Pullman. I believe it is a collection of essays or maybe parts of like talks he's given. Another one that I started reading, I really do want to finish reading it, and I do feel like now would be the perfect time. I might save it for, because I'm currently reading Catabasis, I'm just going to call it that, and then by the time I finish that, I think the new Book of Dust book will be out, so that's going to take my time for a little while, and then maybe throughout November I can read this, because I feel like that will lead me nicely into the Christmas months. The Hobbit. So I also have pretty much most of Dickens' books in this collection, but they're all kind of scattered about at the moment. So we need to keep those together and put those with the precious books. Need I say any more? I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed, I'm not going to lie. So I think I'm going to just start putting some of the categories on the shelves so I can clear up some space at least, and then just see where we're at. This is the book I mentioned earlier. If you are interested in learning about Jane Austen's life, highly recommend this book. It's so interesting. So far we have, this is my fantasy shelf. There's definitely more that can go on there, but we also have to have a contemporary fiction, like a bit of a mix and match shelf, and then historical fiction is a big one. This shelf up here is generally reserved for bigger books of any genre. I think I'm going to work on the next shelf down with the historical fiction because that's the next biggest one, and then we'll just see where we are from there. This is an incredible book to read before Christmas. It's full of short stories, and especially in November actually, because like they're ghostly, spooky stories. So I feel like it's a good bridge from that awkward time between autumn and Christmas. This series of books got me out of the biggest reading slump I had ever been in. I hadn't read for months, and then I bought The Light Years, which is the first in the series, and read all of these back to back very, very quickly. It's imagine Downton Abbey, but in book form. But Downton Abbey on a less grand scale, I would say. It takes place between the two world wars, and it's great. I loved it. This is sadly not a first edition, but it does match my actual first edition of Anna of Avonlea, so they can go together. Wars of the Roses. Historical figures.
Wars of the Roses?
Yeah. What?
Wars of the Roses?
Yeah, because it was multiple wars.
Of roses?
The Roses of Lancaster and York.
Oh.
Yes.
Who won?
Well, roses were their emblem. Lancaster's.
Who won, Lancashire or York?
Lancaster. If you like Regency era books, highly recommend this. I loved this. Also the cover, so it's made to look like an embroidery. When you pull open the book jacket, you can see the back of the embroidery, even though obviously it's not actually embroidered, but I love that as an illustrator and book designer. Always look under your dust jackets, you never know what you might find. Jack bought me this for Christmas. I have yet to read it. I just kind of said in passing that I'd be interested to know what Brittany had to say. And I have not yet read it. But I will. I would still like to know what Brittany has to say. It is a couple of days later, and I realised I didn't actually give you a final bookcase tour. It took a really long time to sort all of these out, but I'm really happy with it. I was tempted to go for like more of an aesthetic setup, you know, having some kind of face down, others facing forwards, but I've got too many books, and until I get another bookcase, I just want to house as many of my favourites on here as possible. So minus my mate Alexander here, it is all just books, no trinkets or anything like that. But that doesn't mean I don't like it. Anyway, let's get started. So top shelf would usually be reserved purely for big books that don't tend to fit as well on the other shelves. However, I've changed it up a little bit this time because at this time of year I really like to read more fantasy books, specifically witchy books. So I do have a few of my bigger books on the left here, like my illustrated Harry Potters and some taller hardbacks. I've got the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, Charlie Mackesy books, and then from here onwards and then onto this shelf as well we have fantasy. These ones are all my witchy books, so we've got A Discovery of Witches, Magic Lessons, the Alice Hoffman books, The Night Circus, and then on this shelf, which is my favourite shelf, we have my Philip Pullmans, we have my R.F. Kuang books, so Babel and Catabasis, whatever it's called, and then my Tolkien books, and then there's a couple of random ones on the side here as well. Might be chopping my head off slightly, but that's fine. This shelf we have my classics, and that includes all of my Dickens. I feel like there's some missing because I swear I had more. I did decide to put all the blues together because that was quite satisfying, and then to have a chunk of all of the orangey reds as well. I've got my Penguin cloth bound Jane Austens and my Little Women, Anne of Green Gables, and the most beautiful book of Grimm's fairy tales, which I've kind of hidden and I don't know why. Yeah, that's most of the classics. They wouldn't all fit on this shelf, so there are some more 2 shelves down, but they're the ones that don't look as nice, so you won't be able to see them as much. Then we have all of my historical fiction, which is probably my favourite genre, to be honest. We've also got a couple of murder mysteries, which is a genre I've only really recently got into. I've read a few Agatha Christie's, and I do love her. But yeah, it's only in the last few months that I've really started getting into it. Historical fiction, in terms of like periods in history that I enjoy, the Regency period, Victorian period, Tudor. To be honest, I like all of them. I do also enjoy like World War kind of novels set around that time. Just any time in history, really. And then on the next shelf down, we have a mixture of classics, so the classics that wouldn't fit on the classic shelf. I have actually just taken a few books down because my sister's borrowing them. And then we also have children's books down here as well. So I've got my original Harry Potters, and then just some children's classics like Wind in the Willows, The Railway Children, Emily of New Moon, which is a book written by the author of Anne of Green Gables. So if you're a fan, I recommend, because I really enjoyed that one. And then finally on the bottom is probably my least favourite genre, and that is contemporary fiction. Although I don't know why the Bridgerton books are down here, even because they're technically historical, although wildly inaccurate. And then I've got a bit of non-fiction down here as well. But yeah, contemporary fiction really isn't my thing. There are a few that I do really like, or are there? Like, I've read most of them, but I've just kept them because I bought them, you know, and I'm not really a huge fan. Like, conversations with friends and normal people, I find a bit pretentious, to be honest. I did enjoy the TV series though. But yeah, that is it. The rest of the books are currently still stacked up on the stairs, and I'm not gonna lie, I quite like it, and I'm probably going to leave them there until I find a bookcase. Thank you so much. If you have made it this far, well done. I am, yeah, very grateful to you, and if you enjoyed the video, I would love it so much if you could like and subscribe, and I will see you next week for a very exciting video because we will be decorating the front of the house for Halloween. It's actually happening today. I'll see you next week. Bye!